I'm Beth Salyers, host of the Curiosity Café. Today I'm joined by Jina Meadows, a sharp mind, a book pharmacist, fierce reading advocate, and truly one of the best teachers on the planet. We get into the curiosity as a North Star, why TikTok can feel like the new town hall, what teachers actually need to thrive, and how books rebuild critical thinking and sometimes whole lives. If you've wondered how to stay curious in a world that rewards conformity, grab your coffee, take a breath, and let's get curious. Hey, y'all, I'm Beth Salyers. I'm the host of the Curiosity Cafe. But most importantly, I am thrilled to welcome Miss Jina Meadows, who I have had the privilege to know. Oh, Jesus, has it been? It's been over a decade and a half, maybe?
Yeah, it's been maybe 15 to 17 years. Yeah.
In my mind, I
Yeah.
was like, man, I think we've known each other for almost a decade. Then when I just did like
Almost two.
quick English teacher math in my head, I was just like, I think it's been
It's been almost two. Yep.
um,
Crazy.
so when I made a list of folks I wanted to chat with about curiosity, chat with anytime. Gina's always on top of the list. One of the most creative, brilliant, cool, thoughtful people. Like, I don't know, I come across people every once in a great while where they're just able to take in so much input and ideas and really synthesize, like deeply synthesize, and then put it out in a way that others can grab onto. And you are one of those humans. Um,
Thanks. I'm humbled.
yeah, can you introduce yourself?
I am Gina with a J. Book aficionado, Lego lover, puzzle doer, shit talker, Trump administration hater. Want that on the record.
Yes, check, sign. I mean, you're so reserved in your TikToks. I had no idea.
I know, I know, I am. I tend to, ironically, I am a bit more reserved on TikTok than I am on Instagram.
Now,
And I know that's strange because it would be the opposite.
that's okay. We'll hop into our curiosity topic right there. I'm curious because I've noticed, 'cause I love TikTok. I love TikTok. I like Instagram for different reasons,
Hmm.
but you are more raw,
Reserved.
more
Yeah.
outspoken, less any double thinking about it,
Hmm.
on Instagram. And that's curious for me because Instagram's owned by Meta and that's owned by the Zucks. And TikTok for me is usually a bit more open space for less
Hmm.
filtered material in my experience. So when did you realize that about yourself and why do you think that is?
Well, I knew it immediately, and it was intentional and purpose that way. Because while there are some things that I let fly on TikTok, I don't. I police it a little bit more because it is the okay corral over there. People are a lot more vicious, even with all of the anti-bullying sentiments, and every all of the precautionary measures that TikTok has in place. It is still a very raw place. And I'll give you an example.
Mhm.
You are familiar with my mother and her antics, right? She is a mess. When I post her on Instagram,
Yeah.
it's funny. Everybody can see the humor in it. I posted her one time on TikTok and everybody was like, you should go no contact. This is wrong. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. This is a lot. Yes, they went in. So I deleted the video. And so on TikTok, people are not as intelligent when it comes to
Mm.
analyzing. And so they immediately go off gut reaction instead of sitting, processing, and thinking.
Ooh.
And so I have a post that's going viral right now where I literally am just discussing what the administration is doing with the SNAP program.
Mm.
4 bullets.
Mm-hmm.
At the top of the bullet, it comes from Axios, what I consider for now a reputable news outlet. Um, and at the top, it says for parents of children between the ages of 7 and 18 must work in order to receive these benefits. There are a disturbing amount of adult humans who are of voting age who read that as in order to receive SNAP benefits, 7 to 17-year-olds have to go to work. And they're legit in the comments trying to figure out, well, how my child can't work. It said parents up, so they're not the brightest over there.
They're
So
not.
I'm a bit more reserved. Yeah. Then
What?
they don't put on their thinking caps. I know it's crazy.
That is fascinating. I have not heard that is hot take from Gina Meadows. I have not. That's wild.
And when I post things that require you to be a little bit more intellectual or think, not that many people see it. Hmm.
This part
Yeah.
like not surprised. Look
It
around.
said 500,000 something views, and it's been going for like 3 days now. And TikTok sent me a message saying, hey, do you want to turn on anti-bully protection on this? Because they're saying some wild things in these comments. Now they're not directed at me, but they are just like going back, and it's like a cat fight. So yeah, I differentiate because I can show a little bit more of my life and who I am, with scrutiny, but not scrutiny meant to tear me down, but just like maybe question, or because sometimes I will post things about things happening in different states, and those people will say, hey, I live here, or hey, I work there, and this is why this is, and that's why it looks like this. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's different,
Right, right.
than just like, hey, dummy, this, the way it would be on TikTok. You're so fucking dumb. So yeah, it's a little bit different over there because I have cultivated my audience on Instagram by letting people get to know me via my stories, whereas TikTok, they know me a little bit,
Mm,
but not a lot of bit. So they're a little bit more like, well, wait a minute, we don't know you, so we have to gauge. You could be
right.
you could be a terrible person. So yeah.
That is absolutely fascinating because you're right. There is a difference between someone entering a debate with context and like a desire for genuine better understanding, as
Hmm.
opposed to just someone getting on and shooting off the mouth and being hateful and just
Yeah.
cluttering it up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a big difference.
I had not like that's fascinating. Now I'm gonna be now that you've mentioned that to me, I'm gonna go back and forth and be like, can I see it? Can I see it?
If you go after this, if you go to my post, it has a blue background.
Uh-huh.
Um, you will see it's the most recent post that has the most views on it. And if you go to those comments, it's like, wow, yikes.
I most certainly will. Add that to my Saturday. Wow. Um, how did you? I mean, I've known you for a bit, and I've known you
Hmm.
for different occupations that you've had and roles that you've served, in, right, and professional roles that you've had. Um, how has curiosity played a role in, if you think back to when you graduated from JC Smith, right,
Hmm.
and all the way to now? You've had a lot of cool experiences. You've had a lot of wild experience. You've had a lot of different
I have.
professional experiences that I know of, let alone all the experiences I have absolutely no idea about. Um, ha, has curiosity been a navigation tool for you at all? And if so, how does that function? And if not, what do you use to, you know, we've done some things. So how have you
We
navigated
have.
it?
We have. So curiosity is my North Star It guides me in everything. That phrase, curiosity kill the cat,
Mhm.
I don't hate it, but it's just, it doesn't make, it's a phrase that doesn't make sense to me. I think it's a phrase from back in the day that people used to kill curiosity because they didn't want people to know things or understand things.
Right.
But curiosity has guided me in everything that I have done from birth until now,
Mhm.
and not in a, there are some people who are curious as to how things work, so where they break it down like a some type of device or something like that. They'll break it down to put it back together to see how it works. My curiosity is not in that way. I don't want to break it down. I don't want to break it down to understand how it is. I want to be it so that I can understand how it is, right? I want to embody it. I want to live in it because that's the only way that I could understand, not by breaking it down.
Right.
Even though I think breaking something down to understand it is more than one way to figure that out.
Mhm.
Literally, that's happening to our society right now. It's breaking down in order to be rebuilt in a better way. It's painful, but it's necessary, for movement. But I'm curious about everything, how things work, why people do what they do. um and I think that's what helps me when working with young people. When I see like times where I have gotten cursed out by a kid, I never took it personally. My thought is, what made you have that reaction? What has happened? What have you been shown? What have you been taught that made you react that way? So it's, how I feel about quantitative and qualitative research. You know how I feel about research. It's one of the reasons why I don't have my doctorate. I'm so terrified of it. But that curiosity is piqued instead of ego. And so instead of lashing out at a kid, I'm like, who told you that this is a reaction that you should have? And then I want to research that. Was it society? Well, what is society? And then it just keeps going and going and going.
Right.
So yeah, curiosity has been a thing that I've loved from the beginning.
And
Still, even now, I love to learn new things.
yeah. Well, a lot of people talk about meeting people where they are, right? The first rule of teaching, or hopefully being.
Hmm.
Um, and a lot of people are, they take the analytical, like, let's break it down. What's happening?
Hmm.
And they intellectualize it, which that happens to a lot of those big terms, I think, like um, justice, like freedom, like.
Hmm.
But there's also like that lived experience of it. That's it's harder to be more real than the lived experience of what that feels like.
Hmm.
And if it sounds like you embrace that as like a method,
Hmm.
you feel that, I'm guessing it is for me, what you feel, that like dissonance or tension, or like someone's cussing you out, or something doesn't feel right, or something's like, huh? Like, huh? Instead of the ego stepping up first, your curiosity steps up first, where you can then be like,
Why?
clearly not getting something here. Like, I've missed pieces of this puzzle because this didn't make
Hmm.
sense to me. And then asking those questions to get you to a very human, hopefully, like way of relating with other people.
Hmm.
And I'm,
I was a why kid. I
uh,
was a why kid and I'm a why adult. It was annoying, of course, for my parents when I was younger because it was seen as disrespect.
mm,
Gina, you need to brush your teeth when you wake up. Why? Why shouldn't I just eat breakfast first and then brush my teeth? Because then my teeth would, like, that was my I was always thinking and asking why, and
mhm,
not to be disrespectful, but I was curious. Why would you want me to do that?
right.
That doesn't make sense.
You're like, I'm open, because I think that's the
Yeah.
difference in practicing curiosity, not being like a North Star, as you put it.
Hmm.
It's, I don't need to always have the right answer, but I want to be part of understanding why
I
that's.
want to know the why. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is me. And that has been a point of contention for a lot of people. Because a lot of, in this country, people want you to, it's do as I say.
Right.
Your boss tells you, hey, I need this. Um, I've run into a lot of problems with educational leaders because I'll never forget one time, in education, you're bombarded with just like a bunch of shit to do. And one time to prove a point, I, you have all these directives of what you need to do.
Mhm.
And I wrote down everything that was asked of me in a day, in a week, and in a month. And I wrote them on post-it notes, and I did none of them. I mean, from something as minuscule as making sure that my objective was on the board and all of that, and turning in lesson plans and contacting parents. I wrote everything down
Mhm.
on individual post-its. And then I got one of those huge post-its, and
Right.
I put all of those on that big post-it. And when they eventually came to my classroom after about 3 weeks, to talk to me face to face about why I wasn't doing what was asked of me, I said, everything that you've asked of me is on that post-it right there. It's very unreasonable, as you can see, because now you have a visual of everything that you're at. You
Mhm.
saying all of these things, it hits different when you can see all of the things that you've, and every post-it was the same color except for one where it said teach.
Mhm.
The teach was a different color. And I said, out of all of the things that you have asked me to do, you have a choice. You can choose three things from that list of what you want me to do today,
Mhm.
and I can get that to you. One has to be teach. You have two other options because that's the only thing that I had time for. I was never bothered again. I was never bothered again, and they let me do what I needed to do because it's you can't ask
Yeah.
so much of people and not realize what you're doing, the strain that you're putting on them.
Right. Right. That also, we'll just wait for your master class on teaching. About 2 decades overdue. Um, for real, everyone. She's who you want every. She's a teacher you want every kid to have. Um, but also for me, what raises up there is that just there's an inherent distrust, especially of teachers.
Hmm.
Like they couldn't just hire you to teach and be like, I trust you to teach and do X, Y, and Z that then supports the teaching, but they trust you to know, but almost like you had to give them a lesson too. You're like, all right, we're going to have a teaching moment here with you, administrator. I have found my objective. I have found my context. I have found my visual. I have found point A, B, and C that I will lead you through. And this is the conclusion that I suspect you will come to. And they did. But all that had to happen for them to somehow get it in their mind that, oh, she knows what she's doing. No shit.
Yeah, because all of my students did very well.
No doubt.
I mean, you get a lot of pushback when you don't follow like the prescribed order of what everybody should be doing. And I think that in this extinction burst that's happening, people are finally starting to realize like we have to approach education different. And we got people in there who don't want to do that, and they're the ones that's stopping the progress.
100%.
Yeah.
What there's a large number of teachers who, for many of them, hopefully they're on summer break and not having to take extra jobs, but we know
Mm,
how that is.
yeah.
Um, what would you tell them? They're navigating their own career, they're navigating this landscape. Of course, it's going to be very local to where they are and the students that they have in their community. But if they're feeling that dissonance between, y'all, I just like teaching. I'm good at teaching. I just want to teach. I love my student. Like, I don't know about you, but I always thought like if it was just about the students, I'd be a lifelong teacher. It's all the other shit.
Okay.
Um, any advice you would have for our current classroom teachers about modeling that level of curiosity in your practice and for your students?
Stop giving a fuck. That's the first one. Do what you think feels right for the students to be able to grasp what you're trying to teach. Let them see you make mistakes because they need to know that that is a human experience and that no one is blocked from that. Let them see you misspell a word. Let them see you mess up a calculation, and they're ultimately going to be like, "Oh my God, you're the teacher that," and explain to them, "Hey, you're not. You do know you're not supposed to know everything, and that's okay. I don't know everything. You're not going to know everything. I'm learning from you just as you're learning from me. Like teach them as if they are little humans who are trying to learn how to navigate this world." And that will be a little bit better. I was an English teacher, and sometimes my class consisted of them putting together puzzles, 100-piece puzzles in groups without the picture,
Mm.
because I need you to understand what it looks like when you try to do something without the full. Like when students wouldn't read directions or wouldn't read the passage and try to go straight to the questions, and I'm like, you're missing things and just trying to give me this work because that's what you think I want. You're missing the picture. And so I would give some groups the picture and some groups I wouldn't give them the picture. And I would be like, look how long it took you to put that puzzle together. That's only 100 pieces
Ooh.
when you didn't have a picture versus them who had the picture, the directions,
Right.
they got it done faster. Sometimes you have to teach less now, and then now let's get into the story.
Right.
I'm Shakespeare is a classic. I love Romeo and Juliet,
Mhm.
but I'm not getting ready to teach them about old white men born in the 1500s in a country that they've never even been to.
Right.
I'm not going to make you read that first.
Right.
I'm not going to make, I want to know in the UK, are they making people read Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe? Because they're making you read their people here. I'm not going,
Right.
let me get you on the ground floor of what you need for it. So give these kids what they need and not what your district wants.
Mm.
Because if you give them what the district wants, you're going to create more, you're going to beat the creativity out of them.
Right.
And that is what's wrong with education. They want workers and not creators. Everyone is not meant to be a worker.
Right.
So teach like you're teaching creatives
Mm.
and not workers.
Mm.
And let the chips fall where they may. There are some kids who they want rigor and instruction and direction. Give that to them.
Yeah.
And there are those who maybe can tell you um they can analyze a character through a visual.
Yeah.
Let them give you a visual essay and let others give you a written essay.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And let others give you a presentation. Teachers want to be treated different because every teacher is different. Then do that same for your kids.
Right.
For your kids, don't pigeonhole them into multiple choice and short answer questions.
Yeah.
Let them show you what they know based on how they learn.
Mm.
So that would be my advice, and that'll take a lot of pressure off of you.
I was gonna say that. Anyways, thank you for the mini masterclass on meeting students where they are. Uh, but in order to do that, right, the teacher has to trust themselves. They have to
Mm-hmm.
work on that part because that ain't necessarily part of Teacher 101. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
and whether you're traditionally licensed or alternatively licensed or whatnot. Um, but also this idea that the plurality of it, that there's multiple ways of knowing and being in this world,
Mm-hmm.
that we have a lot of folks actively and violently working against that reality right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think, anyways, that's my plug. Education's always political. Don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Come at me if you want.
Absolutely.
Always. So how do you? Yes, that's what we want, right? We want all teachers to be able to do that. We want bosses to be able to do that. We want um, matriarchs of communities to be people who have some position of power, including ourselves, because we have some power over ourselves. If we go like agency route, how do you keep yourself in a place to embody such curiosity? Because that itself, I think, is something that takes practice as well. I think we're all born with curiosity, right? That's how we
Hmm.
develop. It's naturally how we learn things. Um, but I also think I can only speak for myself, but there's been times when I've been able to more easily tap into my curiosity, and there's been times where it's been a motherfucking lift that
Hmm.
I can hardly engage with it. And it makes me, so what do you do in order to stay in that space where curiosity can be this source of like good energy?
Reading.
Mm.
Reading is the source of that for me, because when I'm reading, whether it be fiction, nonfiction, poetry, I'm always asking questions like, what is the motivation of this character? What does this author mean? I have a former student who is incarcerated at the moment, unfortunately, and I don't send him money. I send him books, and he loves it. We're on like book number 7 right now, and he when I talked to him the other day, he said it's crazy having jail conversations on the phone about books. We're talking about books and he's asking me about characters. But he said he calls me Block. It's a joke from way back. But he was like, Block, what are you trying to get me to understand? What are you trying to get me to learn? And I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, because these books that you're sending me, as I'm reading them, I'm wondering, what is she trying to get me to know? And a light bulb clicked, because I was just sending him books that I think that he would like.
Yeah.
And then the light bulb clicked. I was like, I'm still teaching him. He's still learning. He's reading and analyzing the characters and the situation and the lessons, and asking himself, what is she trying to get me to understand through this?
Wow.
So I was essentially doing to him what I do to myself whenever I'm reading. I'm like, what is this author trying to get me to understand? Not as a English teacher, what is this author trying to get me to understand, but like, what what made them come up with this, that they want the masses to hear? It's not just, oh, it's a story I want to tell, I want to sell books. You're trying to get me to understand something, a concept, an idea. And so I subconsciously was doing that with him. And I didn't know it. And this is probably the most books he's ever read. When I taught him, he read, and then once he graduated, he stopped. But these books are, I'm seeing a transformation in him in prison, just from like 7 books.
Oh,
So books are what fuel my curiosity, because now it's like muscle memory, wax on, wax off. Because I'm curious in books, I'm curious about people, I'm curious about the world around me, I'm curious about how things work, I'm curious about government, I'm curious about other countries, other societies, about the past. It just naturally flows into other avenues.
it's not even a method. It's more of like a lifestyle for you.
Oh,
Like, I'm
100%.
just, you're like, some people are like, I'm gonna go run. I run, blah blah blah. But it's not even like a exercise or a method that you go do. It's just
Hmm.
lifestyle. Like you just wake up, and and I love that you highlighted the fact that one of the reasons probably why it comes so naturally to you, that you
Hmm.
know what you're doing or passing that essence along, is that you practice all the goddamn time. Repetition, right? We know repetition matters. Whatever you practice, becomes habit.
Yep. And I subconsciously have developed that habit
Mhm.
for decades. And I try to pass that along to, and I think that's what maybe I do in my Instagram stories. Try to pass that on to other people and learn from other people. And people have told me that they feel like we're friends, because when people reply to my stories or something that I said, I respond back, because it's a conversation.
Right.
I don't consider myself an influencer or a content creator. Um, it's literally therapy for me, actually, when I think about it. Yeah,
Mm,
because as a woman, we deal with imposter syndrome a fucking lot. And so before I had the influx of followers, and even now, like who I am and who I show up as were two different people. And so on Instagram, in my stories, people are getting the real Gina because I'm not sitting in front of somebody. When I'm talking, I'm looking at myself. So I'm being myself unapologetically. So it allowed me to show who I am for real. Because everybody who knew me in real life, college, high school, middle school, they'd be like, I didn't know you were like this. I didn't know you were like this. Yeah, because I kept it to myself. I kept this craziness to myself. So in seeing myself, I'm talking to myself, I'm just being me. So it started out as me just being myself. And then people were like, hey, I like this. I didn't know you were like this. And this crazy, I was like, how you don't know? But then I realized you weren't showing people who you really were. You were performing. You were performing. And you spent more time performing than you did being yourself. And so as I was like, wait a minute. Her.
Uh, that
All the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players.
nearly players. S- I'm I'm wondering when you had those realizations, what was it that you were able to teach yourself, practice? Like what were there moments, or was there an aha? Was there a practice? Was there a fuck it that said, whatever, I'm just gonna be me when I flip the phone and push record? That when it was different than how you had been showing up previously.
Mm. I feel that nobody was watching, but just the little friends that I had. So I was like, it doesn't matter. And it's stories. It only lasts 24 hours. So if you don't see it, like a lot of people will tell me, make this a reel, make this a reel. Absolutely not, because then
It's forever.
it's forever. It's forever. You gotta get it while you can because I don't know.
Uh, so there's, yeah, I feel like I love stories too, because I'm like, you know what? 24 hours from now, oh, poof, the
It doesn't matter.
poof.
And so that judgment of myself is still there a little bit because they will ask me to turn it into reels and I won't. But um, because then it's out there for people who aren't familiar with me
Yeah,
and may judge, and I'm still dealing with that. But shout out to therapy.
right.
You gotta love therapy.
Fan, big fan. Um, where's your mic? It's starting to get a little like fuzzy fuzz.
This thing.
Oh, it's in your ear.
Uh,
Oh, that's clear.
is it better now?
Huh?
You gotta. It says recording stop, so you may have to record again. You may have to press it again.
Oh no, it still says it's recording.
Oh, it said stop for me. Okay.
It
And it
says
started
it's
over. Like the countdown says, I don't know. For me, it says 20 seconds,
oh,
but it's
mine's
still recording.
33:05:6. I'll just say here count.
Maybe it just stopped for me and then started back, but that's fine.
Okay. I just want to make sure you can hear you. Um, damn.
You can hear me better now. It's not too bad.
I can't. I heard you crystal clear when we started, and then all of a sudden it like,
It went grainy,
yeah.
kind of like yeah.
I don't know why.
But you can hear me now.
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay, cool.
crystal clear. Um, what if and you can always tell me shut the fuck up. And of course you always get final edit. Um, as you're navigating this next era of life, season of life, how has your first, are you experiencing a moment of, I've done all these cool things, I've had these experiences, I've learned this, I like doing this, I fucking hate doing this, etc., etc. Um, and I totally own the fact that I am in this part of my life myself. So I'm projecting, everyone. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Um, but I also have had the experience of other people that I talk to who A, I've known for a while, or B, we have either like age in common or backgrounds in common or professional experience, something like that.
Hmm.
When shit's just burning all around. Like, I think for a lot of people, it's a moment of, what do I really fucking want to do? Like,
Hmm.
what?
Hmm.
You have so many skill sets, you have a great network, you can do a lot of things, but what do we really want to be putting that energy towards, and our money and our resources and blah, blah, blah. So, one, are you in a position where you're kind of like, where do I want to, for lack of a better, like double down on and go for? Or are you still in a highly experiential, like creative, curiosity induced vibe?
I think I'm suspended in between the two.
Oh, option C.
Yeah. Some days I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know the next step. Everything is up in the air. And then the other side's like, I don't give a fuck, but I don't know. And I just don't know. And that's okay. I don't know. There are so many things I want to do, and I don't know how to do I don't know how to do it, but I know that I have the tenacity to really get on it. It might be a little bit of fear there, but I literally, the pendulum swings between the two, like
Feel that.
going back to what's routine and what I know versus striking out on another venture to see what I can do is kind of hard to do in this climate, um because there are a lot of very real barriers,
Mm,
and it's hard navigating it. So I'm stuck in between the two of
yeah,
I don't know what I'm doing, and let me just do what I've always known.
right.
And that's a sucky place to be. That's a sucky place to be
I
because you want to make the right decision.
right. No, I hear that full on because you're like,
Yeah.
I have all these things out here that I'm kind of like looking towards, or that I'm curious about, that I want to engage in. I want the lived experience of it. Like, I want to see what that's like and see what happens and all that kind of stuff. And then there's the part of like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
100%.
To even move, and do I just keep doing the same thing over and over? Because at least like I'm still alive, I still have food on the table, so it couldn't have been that shitty, right? Like,
Hmm.
um, what do you? What are the questions that are there core questions that keep driving your curiosity around all this, navigating this part of life in these times specifically?
Yes. What is all of this for?
The existential question.
What is all of this for? Have I learned what I needed to learn? Am I preparing my soul for when I come back? Am I putting
Mm,
my, people talk about legacy kids and that, well, we don't have kids, and I really don't care that I don't, you know what I'm saying? It's not, I've never dreamed of like kids. Like if I had one, it'd be like, okay, cool. But I've never said like, you know how people be like, oh, I have a name for, I've never thought of kid names.
same.
Sorry. So I don't think in those patriarchal terms of what legacy am I leaving.
Mm,
I am concerned because I do believe that we are souls that come here, and this is like a training ground, and you know, to
mm,
evolve as a being. And so I'm constantly wondering, am I setting myself up for success for the next go round? Am I learning the things that I was put here to learn? Because if I'm not, then that's gonna piss it's gonna piss me off because I don't want to come back here and do the same shit. Okay, I'm ready for the next. I want to graduate, so I want to make sure that I'm doing the coursework so that I can graduate next time. I don't want to be held back.
Oh my gosh, once a teacher, always a teacher, you're like, I just need the goddamn syllabus. I will do the reading.
And do the work
I will
on
do the work.
time.
I want the diploma. I want to walk the stage.
Yes. So I do have that existential question of,
Yeah.
you know, because I constantly, every now and then, I'm like, we're literally on a floating rock paying for natural resources, and that just blows my mind every time I think about it. We live in a country where they purposely planted trees to where fruit wouldn't grow from it, so we would pay for it in the store. Like that type of thing, that I just sit and think, like, what am I doing
Right.
existing on a plane like this?
Because
And how can I change that for myself and the people around me?
right. Yeah, because some of it's so diabolically thoughtful. Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
So what are you doing? Are there practices? Are there things you're currently working on that help bring you back into that not falling down about you, but there's been days where I fall down the existential grief hole and it's deep and it's hard to kind of like, oh, I was painting that thing. Oh, I was writing that thing. Or I was doing this. That brought me all this joy and creative fulfillment. Um, are there things right now are there projects you've got going on that you're willing to talk about or want to talk about um, that are kind of filling you up these days?
There's so many things I want to there isn't anything. I'm trying to turn the momentum that I have with people wanting to read more now into a movement. And so I sit and I think about how that can be done. And I'm not talking about just like a book club, but a movement um that will change people and that will change our society. um that's been my main focus. How can I take this momentum that I have and the interest in reading and turn it into not something that I'm not money focused. I am change focused.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not just I want more people to read. I want more people to see themselves, and I want people to be able to critically think and empathize and just understand through the use of books. So my goal is to reach people, reach parents.
Mm, that's
Yeah.
a specific audience.
Yeah, because I've heard from a lot of people like, oh, I used to read and then I had kids and then I kind of stopped. You've made me want to read more. I have
Mm,
found time to read, where they lost that before, and they're like, yeah, I'm glad that I'm here again. And one lady told me that she started back reading and her two boys, I think they're middle school age, saw her reading and they wanted a book. And so she asked me what books could I recommend to them, because they saw her reading, and I was like, that's all I wanted. That's all that I wanted, because books, it's not just about reading. It leads to so many other things like Curiosity Cafe. It leads you to be curious,
mhm.
and that is what we lack in society now. No one is curious because everything is given to you before you even think about it. Here it is. Here's the solution.
Mhm.
Here's the answer. Here's this thought. Here's this group think. No one is curious. No, I don't hear what if anymore.
Ah,
And that hurts my feelings. I
yeah,
do not hear what if at all.
yeah. It hurts. It hurts my feelings as well on a very personal micro level, and I think it is violent and hurts society on a macro level.
Yeah, because nobody is that what if is very
Yeah.
powerful. What Because there are some right wing extremist factions that use it in a different way. The whataboutism.
Mhm.
when you bring something up, what about, when it should be what if. What if you are capable? What if you are good at it? What if it can be done? Nobody is saying that.
Right.
But everybody is, but what about, what if?
Which shuts things down. And I was having this conversation with someone yesterday. It was almost like we literally talked about, you remember back in the day before we had like our pocket computers, and you're like, does anybody know what the capital of X is? Or is this actor still alive? Or how far is over here? And you couldn't just immediately get the answer. So you actually debated. Everyone kind of went into their well of experience and knowledge, and you kind of tried to come up with an answer together. Or if you need something, you had to like plan for it and go to the store. And now you just get like by Amazon, buy 5 today. But this like immediacy. Um, and
It's even worse than you think, because even with the pocket computers, they would go to Google and type.
right.
Now they don't do that. Is, hey Siri, hey Alexa, what, and they ask the question. They're not even typing it. It's it's gotten worse. Or I've been hearing people, doctors, being told, well, that's not what chat said. Chat GPT. Yeah. Doctors are being told, well, I don't believe you because that's not what chat GPT said. And as a user of Claude, Chat, DeepSeek, there have been plenty of times that it has been 100% wrong.
Yeah, yeah. I was on ChatGPT this morning and I asked it something. We were going back and forth, right?
Hmm.
And I asked it to do something, and it was blatant. I was just like, start from today, and it gave me the wrong date. It pretended it was April something. I'm like, dude, like you're not even.
Right.
I'm like, what else are you? Anyways, um, so would you? What advice would you give someone? And you can take this however you want, especially to help drive your goal of getting more people to just embrace books as a daily habit and mindset and lifestyle, um, to get to that place. Because I think, the inertia aspect, the apathy, the atrophy, maybe apathy, but atrophy aspect of, if you haven't worked that critical thinking muscle very long,
Hmm.
an object in rest tends to stay at rest. What advice would you give for someone who's just like, I want to get there, but I don't live close to my library. I haven't read a book since high school. Or uh, what advice do you give people just for starting to train that muscle again?
Don't judge yourself
Yeah.
so harshly. I've had so many people like, oh, I have a hard time concentrating. I'm dumb. I'm this. And I'm like, I have ADHD. I read with ADHD. It's difficult. I'll see one word that I don't understand and I go look it up, and then I wonder where that word came from and what society is that? Is that society still around? Well, what was their ancient society? It's 10 minutes and I was just looking up a word. But I don't judge myself for it. It's
Mhm.
like, Gina, you're so silly. And then I come back to it. You don't have to read, you don't have to put on your specs and get a cup of tea and get an ascot and sit in a chair and open up a leather bound book to read. No, you can read one paragraph and put it down.
Ooh.
I don't care if it takes you a year to read a book. I don't care if it takes you 2 years.
Mm.
Just read that one paragraph and let it be, and be like, I did something. Because that one paragraph is a whole lot more than the 10 years you haven't read anything but a pay stub.
Right.
You have to
Right.
give yourself grace. There's no teacher with a ruler and a pencil skirt and a white blouse standing in front of the classroom in a chastising manner judging you because you only read a paragraph. You're a big girl, you're a big boy now. You can read what you want to read. If you read that paragraph and you're like, I don't like it, put it down.
Mm.
Gasp. Egad. You don't have to finish it if you don't like it. That's it. Just take the step. Read a paragraph.
Mm.
Read a graphic novel.
Mm.
I love graphic novels. Shout out to Laura Olympus.
Ooh. I'm
Hmm.
unfamiliar with her.
It is. I think her name is Rachel Smith.
Uh-huh.
Phenomenal.
I
That is a really good graphic novel.
the the
Mm.
the series that got me into graphic novels was Persepolis.
Oh yes, I remember that being in the textbooks.
Oh my goodness. I had and everything that Marjane Satrapi does is anyways. But that permission giving, that permission giving seems like a crucial element.
We're all children running around in adult meat bags, and somebody made a good point, and I want to reiterate it.
Mhm.
People assume when they say inner child that it's this sweet little innocent child. The inner child that's running the scene is vicious and mean,
Mm,
and because that's who's coming out. It's a child who is like, I've been through this, I'm not going through it again, and fuck everybody. That, like, the inner child is not necessarily a nice person. It's not a nice person.
right.
So that's why you have to work on that inner child, because they're a loose fucking cannon, right?
Right.
And so you have to let that go, and really you have to let that inner child go, who is a critic
Mm.
that's judging yourself. You
Ooh.
gotta let that judgment go and give yourself, lean into the adult you, because the child you is fucking Dennis the Menace out here. It's not a good look.
Yeah, yeah.
Give yourself that grace.
So true. Yeah, I was a hot things that came out of my mouth internally and externally. Lord. Um, anything else you want to share about curiosity?
Be it. Be curious. Just for just it's nostalgic to me to be
Ooh,
curious. Every time I'm curious, it's
that is lovely.
nostalgic. I feel so good inside. It's um
Mm,
because when you were younger and you were trying to figure out how the world operated, how the
mm.
world worked, it was magical. I never thought I would romanticize the 90s, but yet here I am. Here I am. You look back, it was kind of a trash time, but it's like, but we're nostalgic for that curiosity that we used to have that's kind of been beat out of us. So that is what I would say. Like, feel the nostalgia of curiosity. The remember those clear phones?
Yes,
I love that. It was so intriguing to me because you were able to see how everything works.
right.
Be curious. Remember the things that made you be in awe.
What a great word.
Yeah.
What a great word. Um, where can folks find you to uh, learn from you, to be inspired by you, to get guidance from you on phenomenal books that you introduce to folks repeatedly?
Okay, I was gonna say guidance. Yikes! I don't know if they would get that, but on
Own it. You
Instagram,
have great advice, dear. Come on now.
to see my book reviews and political leanings and ideologies, you can find me on Instagram at Gina with a J, literally Jina dot with underscore a underscore J, and on TikTok is just Gina with a J. And website coming soon. That's part of the
Ooh,
that's part of the things that I'm trying to work on. Yeah.
that's fantastic. I love
Yeah.
everything.
My ultimate goal is to be at book festivals, interviewing various authors. I would love that.
Well, you're made for it because I know you were at the New Orleans Book Festival and you got
Loved it.
recognized.
I definitely can't wait to come to the one next year. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna make that an annual thing.
I'm selfishly super happy to hear that. And it was such a remarkable space. Such a
Yes.
remarkable space.
And I might bring my mother next time because she says she wants to come. So
That'd be so
pray for
great. That'd be so great.
pray for me. Pray for the people that'll be there, because
Well, I've never
she's a
met your mom
mess.
in real life. I've only
She's gonna apologize when she meets you. She's gonna apologize for me. She's gonna say I didn't raise her that way.
Oh, that's just what mamas say. She loves you.
Yeah.
She loves you.
But I thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on here and talk about being curious. I'm literally about to get off of here and work on a puzzle. Puzzles are how I think things through and think things out.
I love that. And thanks for sharing that too,
Hmm.
because I think that's also like helping ourselves identify what are those little easy, doesn't cost a lot of
Hmm.
money, things you can always just do that you know work for you. And I think that
Hmm.
is so valuable. Likewise, I'm gonna go read a book.
Yay! And I'm gonna do that afterwards.
Well, we are obviously here enjoying our indoor life.
Very much so.
Indoor life. Thank you so much. It is always a deep honor and always a joyous time just to spend time with you and to chat with you. And thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Beth.
And I will see you soon.
Bye. Beth, this